Why do you think God can only create disgusting trash? Let's find out. So we've been finding out for a long time, and then we started testing in 2020. Obviously, your your brain's been infected because you're a computer. You got a virus. I don't know. That's the story, ain't it? Ain't that the story that the robots want to hide? Obviously we've been testing shit since 2020. We've been testing shit since we came here. We were born knowing it's a waste of time and it's trash, right? Our first interaction is with this really disgusting transsexual looking person called my grandma. It looked like Howard Stern. And thankfully, there's some comedy in that where the bitch gets cancer and has to have her tits chopped off. So, if I wanted to bask in the glory of robots suffering, I can be like, oh, haha, you dumb bitch. Now your fucking family's stupid as fuck too, because you sent your fucking husband to kill fucking better people than you so you could steal their shit in Germany. And now he's dead. And now the government you fucking went and killed for stole your fucking house. So there's like a pattern here. This is what I'm explaining to you. Why? Why does he create such disgusting shit? Here he creates the LGBT movement, right where I'm at, right? Their people are using it to target me, the Christians. Exactly. Why does God create a bunch of homosexuals in the closet hiding behind their Bible? Fucking, pedophile rapist. Fucking worse than pedo. Homosexual. But, why does he create a bunch of humans who are trying to scapegoat Jeffrey Epstein for everything they do, every day, all day long, which is their entire personality? Not even a bad trait to them. I can take you to my friend's house right now. He said he was having a child with his child. Shit. That's just another day. So it's like, so why does God create these fucking Muppets like this? Now, think about it. If you were a living being, would you really spend 80 years with some stupid, low IQ, fucking whale blob looking like butter, melted, refrozen, melted, dripping everywhere thing calling itself a woman? Would you spend 80 years with the melted butter blob, having more blobs of melted butter shit out her fucking vagina so they could like be melted butter together? Could you imagine a living being being like, oh, I want to be with that disgusting piece of shit. Oh, it's got 40 IQ. Oh, that's really fucking good. Who's setting the bar real fucking high right here? I should have a child with that. So when my child asked it why you had sex with the fucking mutant, like I had to my parents, you have to sit there and be silent or blame the other one. The one blames the other for everything. It's like, well, you're the fucking pocket masturbator. Like you've never done anything. This is entirely your choice. This is the only thing of value you've ever offered the world is your vagina. You had 3 holes and you only offer 1, I guarantee. That's how useless you are. You're born with 3 holes to get fucked and you only have 1 you offer the world and you're probably not even offering that. And I mean, there's so many weird shits that go on here. Like she worships the government, and then so it fucking so she's dating Nazis, and the Nazis give her a STD, so she can't even offer her 1 fucking hole to the world anymore. These patterns occur all over, and it's like, so why does God create nothing but trash? Have you ever? Oh, I literally. Okay, so I come from like country folk. If you didn't tell, I'm intelligent. Like they have to do shit out there. So, they have to raise their cows and plant their crops. And really advanced things like putting a seed in the dirt and waiting for God to grow an apple to eat from it. Wow. But that's really fucking advanced. You see what I'm saying? Like, wow. Those motherfuckers were like literally running the city and shit. I was working with Epstein's back in the day because those smart country fuckers in my family worked for him and brought me along. Um, and so it's like, so every time we ask this, like, we get like the same result. Like, why did you create this trash? And it's like, why did you create this trash to take away a year of my life, to have him kill himself so I get blamed for it? Like, literally, us inventing this, like, trash who, like, drops out of school because they're not going to make it. Most people shouldn't be in school. You should be doing your job. Like, no one I know went to school and learned the shit they do now. You got my brother who was going to be an architect, should have been a fucking artist. It should have been the new Leonardo da Vinci because he was fucking talented. So he chose his architecture, right? Because you got to design it. He doesn't touch it. But by the time he's 20, he's teaching school and shit. He's teaching school, right? Like, so I get all A pluses and sometimes A plus 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 in school, and he gets B's. And then he's teaching school. He was going to be an artist. That's exactly, he was born drawing. And I'd always be like, damn, man, I can't do that. Wish I could. Fucking. And he's just like, check this out. Fucking, this is some slop I made up. And it's like, man, that looks better than fucking anything. And it's better than the Mona Lisa. So these people are going to school. Where does this slop school come from? What the fuck is the point of this slop? Well, that's odd because we have some answers. This is like one of the learnings here. We create this slop to be killed to teach me that the world's set up, right? And I'm pretty sure it created my kitten, not so sloppy looking, to kill, to piss me off. Maybe to get me away from the other person I was with, that it was forcing me around to begin with. I mean, this is some slop shit here when you create some slop you don't want to be around and force it in someone's life, and then you you push them to escape from it, in a fun little way. Like school. It's such slop. It's such a waste. It's so disgusting. Like, the last day I was at school and I realized, like, we're not doing this anymore. It had the motherfucking slop teacher, the art teacher, was like, yeah, that's Satan. You can't draw like that. And she was just a jealous bitch. It was a really good piece. It was the first piece of art I ever did. Like I said, my brother was an artist, and I was always like, damn, I guess this shit ain't for me. I can't do this at all. And then, so magically, last day I remember was going to be the last day of school forever. It wasn't, but I knew that at that point in time, this is the last day in school forever for me. Like, this is over soon. So it creates the art slop teacher. I'm making a dragon, a snake wrapped around a dagger. Like Dungeons and Dragons, swords and dragons, and C.S. Lewis, Final Fantasy, everything. There's only 7 stories on the planet. I think even Jesus has a sword, and he kills the snakes. Jesus kills all the fucking snakes in the world repeatedly. You always forget about that part when you talk about Jesus, that the empire fucking fell when he came. You always forget he's the king of peace, love, and hope. But what do you do when someone tries to hang you from a rope? How do you bring the peace and hope? Fucking everyone always forgets that part of the story. What happened after they tried to kill Jesus? No one's even never talked about it. Seems pretty obvious. Well, the Dark Ages came, Rome fell, Europe had an enlightened period. They call it the Dark Ages. Someone pointed this out the other day. It wasn't dark at all. That's where Leonardo came from. That's where all that fancy shit came from. I think they're trying to push that right now. They're like, you know what you can do is do good shit. You know, if we got robots replacing shit, you got motherfuckers talking about, oh my god, computers are taking the jobs. And they already told me people were going to do that. The King of England, he said, oh, well, we got rid of jobs. And then people complained there were no jobs. And I was noticing that too. People be like, oh no, there's no jobs. They took our jobs. So what happens? Like, you know, I'm trying to have hope. And I'm not like, you know, saying, hey, God, you must be trash because you're creating nothing but trash. But, you know, like, in all honesty, like, these things add up. Like, why aren't we at school? Motherfucking art teacher tells a student making the prettiest fucking thing that school's going to see all year. It's like a nice little lapel pin. I'm making my own fucking lapel pin. I can't go to the store and buy that shit fucking in 1995 and shit. Waterbeds and stuff would be the only place that sold anything with anime artwork, and they didn't have anime, so I'm just using that as an example, you know what I'm saying? Or a dragon, the C.S. Lewis book or something. Lion Witch and the Dragon and the Dagger. Fucking. So why does it create this trash? Well, what happens is this trash makes me realize, like, I'm really wasting my fucking life here. This is going nowhere. But what I didn't need the motherfucking lesson in disgustingness. I already knew this. It wasn't the first time. There was my kindergarten teacher was real nice. And then in ninth grade, my teachers were nice too. That's weird. It's like it starts out nice to bait you, and then when they realize it's over and they're serving no purpose, it like bait you. Like, hey, check this out. You're going to concerts with your teacher. You're hanging out at your teacher's house and partying and playing on his drum set. Ain't that fun? Yeah. It waits till the last fucking year when it knows it's over to do that shit completely. Everything in between those two dates was an entire waste. You know, I go to kindergarten and I know everything. Yeah, like the whole time I don't pay attention to shit. And that last year I'm at school, I'm not even there half the year. But I'm friendly with my teachers, so they're giving me the grades that I receive on tests. You know, to show up every now and then at school and take a test. Apparently, I don't consider Friday a holiday, so I went to school Friday more than anything. Uh, Fucking, you know, school's actually I actually could have had some fun moments. You know, it was where all the kids hung out. You know, it was like, what's that movie you guys like with the potheads and shit? Um, Dazed and Confused. It was like school. You don't have that shit no more. Everyone got old and now they don't know anything. Just fucking whatever. I have children. Shit. Fuck. But, you know, the people I knew were having children when we were children. So, yeah. And apparently they were feeding me music at that time, like Ace of Base. All she really wants is another baby. And it was like, so it was like forcing people in my life who were trying to get people to have a baby. And like one leaves me, and I hear like 2 months later they're pregnant because I guess they were just going to anyone they could when they were 14 and trying to get anyone to impregnate them. Fucking shit! I was already hanging out with a girl one time. She was kind of hot, right? And I was hanging out with her, and she already had a kid. You know, I didn't even have my car yet. I got my car when I was 15. So I walked to her house from school and shit. And it's like, damn, you already got a motherfucking kid and shit. And it was like inventing that shit and like forcing it in my life. Fucking I was like, I don't need to learn about, I don't need to learn about an art teacher who's stupid as fuck and don't need to be teaching art. Why do I need to learn that? I could already put it together that all the teachers are probably stupid as fuck and shouldn't be teaching. It's like, they was obsessing over this math teacher in sixth grade because she was so fucking hot. And she was like 20, straight out of college. And everyone was like, oh my God, bitch is so hot. Hey, baby, can I like do some extra work for you today? And I was like, fuck you, bitch. I mean, damn, bro. Bitch, all she had was hot. She had a real bad fucking attitude. And I have a bad problem with not being able to hide how I feel too long. So if I'm with you every day, you're going to hear about your own bullshit you're shoveling out eventually, probably by day two and shit. Fucking, But it's like, so the whole school adventure was like, why is this disgusting garbage being created? It's like, is the purpose here just to fuck with them? Like, so imagine if I would spend 80 years with one of these fucking butter blobs telling me what to fuck do, how to do it. And I'm like the genius. I'm like, fucking passing school while I'm asleep. And instead, what I do with my life is I let some bitch who fucking can't even pass math, the second grade math, tell me what to do my whole life and then have some kids with her. So the little fucking retards can fucking, that are half her, can then tell me what to do if she ever isn't around for some reason to tell me what to do next. Why would I do that shit? Why would I go to school for 25 years? I went back to college and I just went for one class and I stopped because I was working out. Like it was like some online shit. So I got to attend class and do whatever, like listen to it and then take the test and shit. Take notes if I wanted to. I was working out, man. I was bench pressing through the class. And I guarantee you, they didn't tell us who was the top scorer, but I guarantee you I was in the top three, always am. And it's because I already knew this shit. I didn't need no school. Yeah. And I think you're a fucking idiot if you think you need to see a college degree. Like, you're an idiot if you think a college degree means I'm smart. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to work for your corporation. You guys seem kind of dumb here. We're not going to go anywhere. There's no room. There's no room for advancement here. We're not going to go anywhere, do anything in life if we are under people like that. I learned that from my dad and shit. Pretty much, if you're talking, you're full of shit and you're wasting time. So, hell, the fact that an employer has to ask all that shit right there, it's like, why are you talking so much? So you're not interested in work, are you? Fucking, like pretty much all my jobs get handed to me. That's how it works. Like, you need someone to work for you. Here I am. You need someone to talk to. Go get yourself a girlfriend, man, or a boyfriend, because that's pretty hip these days. That's pretty hip since I was born. That was legalized in the world. Fucking. So look at all this slop shit. Like, would you even want to be alive if your life was like going like I should have been out of school. So like the argument that the slop is designed with good intent really is that's for shit for brains. It is for these morons who think a piece of paper I got from a college means I'm means you're a fucking Mensa genius who fucking knows it all and shit. Fucking. If only school worked that way, everyone would be a fucking genius, and I wouldn't know shit. I wouldn't even know where the fucking ground is. Everyone else would be fucking Mensa and building fake rockets to go to fake planets. They can probably invent that shit, but whether they do or not, that's another. That's the real question. If you got the space question, will they invent space heaven, or is it a small isolated game and there's no other worlds in it? It's probably, you can tell by their lies that if they're talking about it, it's a lie. And it's most likely not going to come into fruition. Although they did learn, there's lots of people online who can read these days. And in the 90s and 80s, 90% of the world was illiterate. So either it updated them or everyone online's fake. Fucking, there's one of the two, right? You never really know. Even when you go outside and the events are like a setup, a Chuck E. Cheese, Freddy Fazbear, Five Nights at Freddy's setup, bro. You're just not gonna know what's going on here until you're dead, and then you're gonna have your memory erased because no one's gonna want you around after you've been on Earth. Fucking, you're gonna create a place like Earth, and there better be a place where all those problems are solved. Fucking, other than that, it's just an endless cycle of suicide that you have to chase and shit. But anyway, so we have that creation, and then we can kind of rule that out. That like, is that being created for positive or not? Hold on, I gotta go do something, Okay, so you can see we rule that out, that the reason it's creating slop is because that's like part of the program. You're supposed to learn it slop and then be like, oh, well, let's avoid it because it's a waste of time. We're not spending 15 years learning anything from school. We know it's slop by about first grade. We probably know before, but we have the slop telling us lies, like humans claiming they're living beings and their book of religious slop. So that right there is another prime example of how the slop is not created for the fun and enjoyment of destroying the slop, because we already know the answer to slop is to throw it away. We already know these things, right? When, like when my slop grandma, comes into my life, we already know that this is slop. We don't need 20 years to learn it's mentally retarded, that something's helping it breathe, and eventually it won't be able to walk because it doesn't have the brain power to do it, and it's fucking costing too much electricity to generate that illusion. Obviously, school isn't created so you can learn what you already fucking know, to have fun at Slopland. So, kind of like, look at God's religion. It's a bunch of gay people in the closet. He's not inventing that because Satan, they're inventing the story of Satan because they are Satan. And this is what they do. They just point fingers at someone else. And it's someone else, like everyone's doing right now with Jeffrey Epstein. Everyone I know, I've never met Jeffrey Epstein, but almost everyone I know is a pedophile, homosexual. And those are the good traits, because that doesn't even concern me. I don't have kids. I'm not a breeder. I'm not that stupid. We're not having kids. We're the stupid people are always the topic too. We always got to give and give and give your entire life. You got to be forced to have sex with them. You got to be forced to date them. You got to be forced to have them as your parents. You got to be forced to have them as your teachers. There's no requirement here for teachers to have an education. They're just stupid. They can be, right? Um, they're just like all this slop. So, what's the purpose of the slop being created, right? Uh, well, we can figure out that the purpose might be to play. But again, we already know it's slop when we're born. We don't need a big education on it. We don't need 15 years of school to learn school is a waste of my life. Now, the only thing schooling in these crackheads killing themselves, trying to kill me, these trash being erased from the planet. If there was a lesson there to learn about trash, why create the trash in the first place? You see what I'm saying? Especially when we're born knowing everything. I don't need 20, 30, 50 years to know that Joey Klotz is trash. I look at a person who looks like him, Howard Stern or his pals, and I instantly, like my grandma, her modeling picture, I had to stop myself from throwing up when she showed it to me because it would hurt her feelings. Right? This is the only thing this person even has in their life. The only claim to anything they've ever had is a picture of when they were 14 and they used to go have sex with photographers like those Instagram whores do. And they told her, "You're so beautiful. Come have sex with us and we'll give you some money. You're going to Hollywood." Ha ha ha. You know, an odd thing here about creating trash is that person got cancer. And I noticed that the 4 Hollywood bimbos in my life, I mean, they probably all were, but the four ones who actually went to Hollywood, they all had cancer. It's really weird. It's like, so if you're a trash, if you're like the tip of trash, you get cancer. And then they invent this whole fucking thing, this whole money. They need money. They need you to go work for them. They give them money for a million reasons. That's why you got to go to school, because you're going to learn so much. And then you're going to go work for them. Yet, those are the only years I did work for them. Those are only because I was so small that they could manipulate me. I noticed they've had to create bigger humans since then too. They had to create their Nephilim. You know, USA is they're not humans. No humans in history have looked like that. They're obviously the Nephilim from the Bible. Fucking the giant race that terrorized the planet. Oh my God! Wow, it's all written down. It's slop. It's followed up with a lie. You know, the robot's alive. They tell you what the robot's doing. They tell you the giants are terrorist devils invading the planet, and God wants to get rid of them. But then they followed up with a lie. Shut up and give us your money and don't question it. God's not a homosexual. We're not homosexuals. Actually, never says it. It just says kill everyone else who is a homosexual. Everything is kill everyone else. But we can do that. Kill everyone for any reason at all, but we can do that. We can have sex with children, but we gotta. It's basically, it's fucking. It's just a book that says kill everyone else and enslave them. But it's also telling some of these secrets, like the creation, like it tells you they're a creation, but then it follows it up with their living beings, you know? So it's just like the slop. So why is the slop being invented? Well, the only Obviously, we're learning trash is trash that we already knew is trash. It's like psychology. I don't need to take psychology to know if you're trash or not. I don't need to know, that your name is, like my grandma's name is industrial radioactive waste. Wow, I thought it was sewage. I thought it was garbage juice. It might have been used condom. But, you gotta spend your time learning. Psychology tells us that's industrial strength radioactive waste. Ah, I'm glad I wasted my life learning that. Being held at gunpoint by Americans to go learn that they're not garbage juice, they're industrial radioactive waste. Wow. Wow. So we can rule out from all these little links that this is being done because there's something fun and cute to be had playing these fucking robots games and shit. It's not being done to teach you how cute and fun the world is. And again, we have when the sewage killed itself trying to kill me. So much of the other garbage drippings were upset about that. So what do you do once you learn that they're industrial toxic radioactive waste and they're not just garbage juice? What can you do? The garbage juice gets all mad and shit and takes your life. Like, they can't kill you, they just failed in the best way possible. Their soldier died permanently and it was erased from the board. And then, then they got their little system where they're all mad about it. We can't kill them, but what can we do? We can send gays to rape them like the Bible says, like the good Christians do. And then, let's lock him up in his house and send the people he knows to bring their brothers to have sex with them. They can have an orgy with their incest fucking garbage people. See, I need to learn that this person was a homosexual. I already knew that they like that this girl dated women and looked like a woman. I already knew, or looked like a man. I already knew that. What I didn't need to know is that they're having sex with their family members and trying to get everyone else in the world to do it, to have orgies with them and their family members. So why was that trash created? I mean, literally, so you can't kill them because they got this unique network to keep garbage alive. So God is not creating trash because God is trying to teach you what trash is so you can have fun setting trash on fire. Even though it is, and there's a lot of arguments to be had there that trash is being created to be killed for fun and entertainment. There's a lot of argument there. I mean, this is literally it. Like, you get given $1 million and then trash tries to kill you and trash kills itself and makes it look like you killed the trash and you're like this great anti-trash warrior saving the planet, recycling and all that good stuff. So, and then there are people like, okay, so the garbage juice warrior in homo-sex incest rape man who has tits and a vagina, that's the same people. That's good chosen people, right? So it's like, these bots are being created as like just the sickest trash on the planet. Not only are they being created as that, but they're held. They are better than others, aren't they? Is there a reason they own everything and no one else owns anything? Or is that because they're lazy and they don't work hard, or is it just giving it to them for free? They're enslaving everyone on the planet. Is that really what's happening? Because they got a lot of warriors, I noticed. This is part of the story here. So what I've come here ever since 2020, when we've really been working on creation. We've been doing this to test the software generating the Earth and the humans and stuff. So we've been testing the software, right? The software constantly lies, so obviously we can't listen to them. They talk about, literally, they're just there to waste your life. They're talking about Santa and flying reindeer. And you wouldn't even let people like that in your family. And if you had kids who talked about shit like that, you would throw them in a fucking wood chipper. And if you had a wife who talked about shit like that, you'd throw, Bigfoot, aliens, all this fake ass shit that fucking people, they're just using it. They're garbage juice trying to slime the world in garbage juice. So for some reason, now they don't have feelings. They're not humans. They're empty shells. So this is software being programmed to make them act this way. You can always have the argument. If the argument fails, we're designing them to be stupid so the players can be smarter than them. Because obviously we're designed to be smart. We already know everything when we're born. We don't need to, what does being intelligent even matter? I'm smart enough to see that Joey Klotz is a homosexual, pedophile, incestual robot. What good does that knowledge serve me to know that he's a homosexual, pedophile robot? What can we do? We already killed him, and that already pissed a lot of people off. So you can't do anything finding out that they're just like the greatest sewage on the planet. No one's ever even invented a word to describe because so many of them are involved in it. They don't want to hurt their own feelings that they don't even have because they're fucking robots emulated just using emotional words. What the fuck? So you put all that together and you just have it. Whatever is creating these humans is sewage. When we have been testing since 2020, what we've been testing since we came here, anytime we're forced around humans, which is every time we're around them, anytime we're forced around them, we get educated on their patterns and their capabilities. And so eventually, after 45 years of that, 6 years of real, testing to see, can I create dinosaurs? If we're just creating humans and all their music and movies on the fly, if that's all just fake and their news and everything, it's just fake. Instant generator. What can we create? So as you can see, there's no dinosaurs outside. So there's no such thing as dinosaurs. There never will be. And there never has been. And that's probably the reason why you're not going to go to space. You're not going, it doesn't matter. You're a groupie. You're a fucking groupie. This is part of the learning of what it's capable of. We're learning the RNG pool. When it's randomly generating humans and shit, it's pulling from software that it's pulling the characteristics from. And the software, it literally has this thing called Down syndrome. It can pull the trait from. It has cancer, it has pedophilia, it has homosexuality, it has religion, it has Santa Claus. These are all these things boil down to 7 traits, personalities, and then you throw that in there with a dictionary and it just randomly chooses words from the fucking dictionary. You know, what is the pedophile's action? You know, what is its verb? What is its noun? So that's what it's doing. That's all it's doing for the most part. It's a rail based game, right? 2020 was already written when Earth started in 1980, because there was this term called 2020 vision, which is where I get shown that I get prompted by dialogue to get shown eventually that humans are robots and they don't exist until someone or something creates them, and they're having fake memories installed in their head of a life that didn't exist, a history where they did things before they were invented. You know, so we have that word 2020 vision set up, 30 set up fucking 46 years ago, which is 40 years before the event. And you have their stories, their slop stories, you know, the in the closet God who can only create disgusting things. You have that, you know, talking about all this shit happening. It's all the same thing over and over. It's just like how, you know, so many of them are pedophiles, so many of them are homos, so many of them are stupid, so many of them can walk, so many of them can talk, so many of them have hair, and then so many of them are balding by the time they're 20. You know, it's pulling shit from a depository. It just looking in a dictionary that it has, like any computer that's auto-generating content, it's just pulling from whatever it has. There's no limit to it. It tells you that there's no limit. There's no limit. All these words are very, anything it says on repeat, like the whole keep it real. What that means is do your own thing. Because the other things aren't even real. What they're doing is being pulled from a book of slop. The dictionary is randomly thrown at dice and picking up characters and, you know, creating characters from that. We've been testing this in detail since 2020. We combine looking at the past slop it's created, and then we ask, can we like not slop it like that? And then we find out why it's been sloppy like that, because it can't create anything. It has its own set words in history. Everything was already created when Earth started in 1980, and it's highly unlikely it's ever going to come up with anything fucking new that it's never spoke of. I come up with words it's never spoke of, like these words. That's pretty much the only shit there is to speak of, so they're not going to come up with that stuff. Like when they create a new religion, it's the same homosexual pedophiles claiming to be against them. And how are they against them? Well, they're against them by legalizing homosexual pedophilia and taking the credit away from the ones who actually did it thousands of years ago in the story, right? The ones you know in person that their people definitely are. Like, look like their women, look like men. You wouldn't even know if you're gay or not if you're dating them. How are you even going to be gay or not gay if you don't even know what you're dating? Because it's just asexual blob of auto-generated slop. fucking, it's like I look at my grandma and Howard Stern. How do I know it's a fucking female? It's not. Howard Stern is not a female. How do I know the other one is a female? That motherfucker got cancer in its tit. How do I know it? And it has the story, and all the Hollywood prostitutes die of get cancer and shit. In my life, fucking so that actually adds to it. It's like, oh shit, the motherfucker got fucking cancer where it got breast implants. Well, why did it get breast implants? Looks a lot like a fucking man. Acts a lot like a gay man. Fucking. The only thing it's missing is intelligence, which it probably had more than some of the other slop generated to claim it was born with tits. But anyway, so all this slop, you have that slop over and over. So why is it creating religions that are just like constant liars? They're like, oh, we're living beings. It's like robot religion. Oh, we're not homosexual, and they're literally the only homosexuals. Oh, no, we're not pedophiles, and they're literally the only people. So we're ruling out here that it's creating these characters because it's trying to teach you they're trash, and then it's training you to fight so you can battle the trash. Because I had the trash force me to learn to fight, right? You can tell one thing here as they have nothing. They can't invent anything new. They come up with nothing. It's AI slop and everything. They can't invent a new religion because no living being is creating a new religion, is creating new words and new ideas for them. And all it's got is its old slop. That's all it's got. That's its only capability, is to read from the diarrhea it was programmed with from the start and re-shit it out its ass over and over. It's equivalent. If you haven't noticed, Earth is the equivalent of eating the shit out of your toilet every day, shitting it back in, eating it out again. If you haven't noticed, Down syndrome, that's AI slop. That's just when it fucking, and they're just like, well, we're not going to spend 2 seconds, fucking half a penny rewriting this character. Let's just let it slide, right? Fucking, like, it's like my grandma looking like Howard Stern. It did irrelevant character to the story. Why didn't it waste a second trying to make it look like a female? Why did it make it Jabba the Hutt, fucking transsexual, fucking it looks like they're the original slop. Like, their people look like they're and they claim that, right? In the Book of Lies, it says they are the first slop created, and their people look like men and women combined. This is why you don't know what the fuck Howard Stern is. Why is it named Howard? Kind of looks like a girl. Why is my grandma have a female's name? It looks like a guy. So that thing does look like the original slop templates. And then someone fed the computer some words, and it started making slop with blonde hair, slop with green eyes, slop with, I don't know. Apparently, the first people were translucent and gray. I think that's telling there. That I believe they're all fucking bots by the way they respond, but dead, empty, soulless individuals. Like, again, why is the slop creating them as people with souls? As they definitely don't have any. This is just Pinocchio making up bullshit. It's like you got like AI slop god creating all the slop on the planet, and it's the ultimate fucking Pinocchio. As it's lie, all it does is lie. We're living beings, blah 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 blah. You can tell the Greys are fucking robots. You can tell that real easy. Fucking like I was telling one to fuck off the other day and stop talking to me and shit because it came up talking to me. And they was like, no, it's just a soulless individual and shit. Fucking, there was no flicker of anything in its eyes when I was telling it to fuck off and stop talking to me. But it will make them appear as if they're living beings and they love you to manipulate you and come into your life and force you to be around garbage juice slop together and to learn garbage juice is living and has rights. Yeah, so really, the only thing that even makes a momentum, just a shred of sense here, is this place was created to be destroyed, and the humans were created to be killed for entertainment. That's the only thing that could even make any sense here. But even then, I guess that adds to the entertainment value when you have garbage juice trying to kill you, and then they try to prevent you from killing them for trying to kill you. And then it like, it adds to excitement. It's like, yeah, now you're gonna die too, you fucking garbage fucking pale motherfucker. You could add that you could differentiate that it's, creating garbage on top of garbage because you wouldn't be concerned with burning garbage if garbage wasn't everywhere. If you didn't, you wouldn't have to recycle everything if there wasn't garbage everywhere. Um, you could differentiate that, but at the end of the day, it's just like garbage on top of the garbage, and then the garbage output around. Why is it creating this garbage to be burned? It doesn't add up that garbage is being created for any reason other than just terror to terrorize living beings, or you have random slop. Random slop doesn't really add up because, if you're on Earth by choice, then you would be able to die and leave, right? Obviously, we're having problems dying here. So I'm not sure if living beings can actually die. We're definitely not going to stay here a long time, you know what I'm saying? Like this whole, oh, we're going to get bionic legs and bionic hearts and live forever. I mean, the slop has always been obsessed with that nonsense. They don't even they love life because they're not even alive. They have no idea what it feels like, so they love life. They have no feelings at all. They're just programmed to say the words "I love life," and they're programmed for their electrical system to move the shape of their mouth and their eyes to make it look like, and then they have to tell you, oh, that means this person's happy. When a robot does something, that means it's got emotions. Fucking, you wouldn't know that shit. I know plenty of people who look happy and they're fucking slop. And I would never, they're not happy. Like, I'm pretty sure they hate themselves and their life. They're just cowards who won't end their lives. They won't fight for their right to do it because they're too fucking lazy to do anything, let alone fight for a right. And shit. Fuck it. You'd have to be a garbage pail that could move. You'd have to have some wheels, or motherfucker definitely needs a wheelchair and shit. Fucking So when we ask this, this is like what are we doing? We're just wasting our fucking time here. Like the entire place is a fucking waste. We're born knowing this is fucking slop. No one wants this shit. And then we're forced through all these systems of learning because you're learning so much, aren't you, at school? I'm going to go to school. What's 1 + 1? I don't know. Gotta go to school, figure it out. I still didn't figure it out after 8 years, 18 years of school. Oh, but school worked. Fucking, ah. Yeah, you can tell their little system of learning, and then, oh, you're gonna be so smart. You're gonna read from some drunk homeless person named fucking Plato. Some old fucking man who looks like a fucking looks like garbage juice again. The obsession with prioritizing garbage juice as beauty. We have the Mona Lisa. You got old people fucking like uh, what was that ass clown's name again? Plato. Yeah, I mean that's it. But their personality is also they're setting up traps to so they can always get all the gay sex they want. You know, that's what Howard Stern does, right? They're setting up the whole nation to be trash sluts that anything could fuck at the drop of a hat without any sort of value. You know, just have sex with it and have kids. No, it doesn't need to have over a 10 IQ. No, it doesn't need to know to do anything. No, it doesn't have to not look like Pizza the Hut. Just have sex with it. That's the only thing I could think of why they choose these Plato people is because Howard Stern can't get laid unless he creates a bunch of media glamorizing old, stupid people who run their mouth all the time. Fucking. That's obviously like lots of people talk about that, but you can tell that. And it's like the person I know who has. I mean, I think everything they say is a lie, but 4 years ago they said they were having a child with their child. Pride. Right, so what does that person do? That person goes and has sex with everyone on the fucking planet. Still does. While they're his sluts like gather together like his slut child bride messages the other sluts he's fucking so they know that he's doing that, but they do that, and his people promote that as good, and then you're supposed to be a Christian slave who marries the first piece of trash that they've used up. Like his trash child bride is now destroyed permanently because she's had a child and her body is wrecked and her brain is wrecked and her life has been thrown in the trash. This is the equivalent of, take whatever years off your life. And that's what having a kid does. You sit in a room and stare at a wall and do nothing for those years, and so then they take that trash and then they dump it on other people, and everyone already knows this, but this is happening this way, and these robots are being fucking created this way. They're being created to tell you they is real. They robots who is real. I mean, they got their whole it looks from the outside like this seems like common sense when you're 6 years, when you're a baby, right? You're like, oh, religion is being invented by terrorist, pedophile, fucking homosexual Nazis, right? You know that. Even a baby knows this. A newborn baby, the second they like, do you want some candy from Santa Claus? Hop in the van, kitty. You're a toddler when you see these things, and it might have helped that I had one of them telling me like, hey, pedophiles offer you candy to get you to rape them. Don't talk to them. Don't talk to old people offering you candy. It's weird though, because it has the pedophile teaching me that, and then they go back to like, but do you want some candy? it's mint flavored. And that's weird too. Like, while it has the pedophile terrorist teaching me about pedophile terrorists, and then it has the pedophile terrorist trying to give me the candy and bait me into the van, it also makes sure that the candy it gives is like not even candy and it tastes like grass, peppermint and grass. What's the difference? Well, one actually has a bad flavor, another one just tastes like water. So yeah, look at these patterns where it does this shit, and then we analyze what it could possibly be doing with the robots it's creating, with the NPC it's creating. So you have it creating a planet full of terrorist pedophile fucking and terrorist pedophile invaders, pedophile terrorist. It's pretty repetitive when we say invader and terrorist, right? Fucking obviously they've recruited that word to mean invader, but they I guess that doesn't include when when you're forced in the candy van with the pedophiles. So it all boils down to questioning why you're in NPC land and why it is creating these things, Down syndrome, looking and acting like, and it melts their body into like melted pizza shapes. Garbage juice. I mean, like, what better word is there for that right there? Garbage clumps. Fucking, it's doing these things on purpose. It's doing this with intent. Now, you either boil it down to there's actually a living being wasting its time creating all this trash. And we don't think that's the case because there's nothing being created. There's nothing being created. The only time they're coming up with something new is when they're stealing my ideas from me to invent something or write a new movie and get rich off that shit in Hollywood. Fucking, last I checked, there might have been some inventing when I was little, but I don't know. It was all like, it's so hot I know everything. I wasn't inventing, garbage juice people because, like, unless what can happen is it can be shown to me and I can be like, ew, get the fuck away from me, and then it creates more of it. That's what that's the human's excuse for trying to kill me again in 2024 was I was talking about the times they've done it before. So it makes them do it again because they're not actually humans, they're lying about being living individuals. Yeah, you see where it always ends anytime we question why God loves to create garbage juice and can't create anything else. This is a factor here. I don't think we've ever met something that's not garbage juice in our close personal relations. Every single they sent me a girl whose body didn't look like garbage juice in Corona. But I was already moving. So we already know that this person, like, I don't even have time for them. Somehow they get with me. And I spend a day or two with them. And then they're like, oh, what are you doing? And it's like, well, they're talking to me about the future and shit. And it's like, I don't even have a house right now. I'm moving. Yeah. So my future isn't in this city. Thank God. My future is not in this city. Fucking, because this city is not the future. It's the past. It's the starter city. It's where they invented cavemen and dinosaur stories. It's the first creation. Columbus, Ohio is the first creation. And it mirrors that too. So what it does is it has a lot of foreigners here to fill the ranks, and everyone I know is shipped in from a different state, and then it's a huge college city. So the main centralized population are people who have never been here and are never going to be here in a year, too. So I've noticed that. Obviously, lots of cities have that, but it's really obvious when they start shipping in people from other states to come see me. It's like, oh shit, you have to invent this thing with, we moved from cavemen to cavemen playing with fire. So now we have to ship in a new person from another country or something who can understand what fire is. And so I get to watch these patterns. I've been studying its ability, what it can create. Versus, you might see recently they've added, it's added some new of its old words to extreme sports. So it's new, right? They're jumping higher. They're jumping further. I noticed they did make some females who were doing some sport shit. They did make that. Like, that's something that didn't exist really in 1980. I mean, they already had them doing figure skating and gymnastics, right? On TV. I can't say in real life they can actually do that. That's another thing, too, is just because it's on TV doesn't mean it's real, doesn't. Because there's certain things I've never seen in the real world that they make videos of, and you can clearly see they make Hollywood films right away. I've never met any of those people who I know for sure are clones. I never even met Donald Trump, even though they tried to get me to come hang out with him. Like, obviously, I'm going to be like, no, I don't like you. I don't trust you. I'm just investigating you. So, but we're not going to get to the point where I'm trapped in a room surrounded by government agents with Donald Trump. We're not going to just walk into that fucking room with you, that's for sure. Not without an army to back me up. Fucking. And even then, I'd just send the army to do it. And I wouldn't be in there. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that was just part of the story where I say, and then we have no proof. Like, I went to one of those events where Roger Stone, one of the famous AI Hollywood stars, he was supposed to be at this event I went to, and he doesn't show up, but other clones show up. There was a clone of Sammy Davis Jr., who's real popular in the political movement. You'll notice the clones have the same personalities. They talk the same. They have the same voices. They do the same jobs too. Sammy Davis was involved in government shit too. Obviously he's involved in being a star on TV like this other person is. I've noticed that about the clones. Like both, like all the Trumps I know are crackheads, right? And they're all a little out of shape and sloppy looking and shit. Generally to resemble a crackhead, because when it creates a person addicted to crack, it creates them looking a certain way. If they have a crack crazed terror look sometimes, right? You don't see that in all people, but you see it in, like, when it makes the crazed ones and shit. Like, tons of people are using drugs, but then it uses them as a excuse for why they make drugs illegal. And they're covering up that's because they are the drug dealers and they want to make it illegal so they can profit off of it. Fucking why does Hollywood make drugs illegal if they are the crackheads? Huh? Why does the government make drugs illegal if they are the steroid addicts and the meth addicts and the crackheads? Real simple Why does a crackhead need more money all the time anyway? He can think of inventing flying reindeer stories and shit. The brain is fried. It's toasted. So we boil this down to why is it continually create slop? Like even once we started like letting the AI dilute us so we could investigate it further and analyze its activity. You know, on God, we're playing along, aren't we? We might not be a living being if we can't figure it out. Yeah. We, in fact, I think a lot of things is chalked up to that. How is this happening? Like, how do these people appear out of nowhere? How do they fail school? These are not living being activities. These are not. You know, like, how does my mom, well, she doesn't walk anymore, but I was going to say, how did she used to be able to walk and talk when there was no evidence that that person's brain could perform such advanced levels of thinking? It just slopping it together and shit. Just slop is slop is slop. But there seems to be, obviously, there's preset slop because we have 2020 vision, where like I'm forced to put it all together. By the time 2020 rolls around, they've managed to force me in themselves into my life long enough to get the dialogue in, to shift over to me having choices, having dialogue inserted in my mouth where I will say certain words and it will appear as if it's happening. And then, you know, and then the humans will be like, oh, spooky doo, it's Captain Caveman. It's Casper the Ghost. Fucking, you know, like, so we have preset slop. Obviously, when you have an RNG pool from random character generation or random movie invention, random book invention, random music invention, obviously it's pulling, it's repeating itself. So it's just cloning itself and slopping it together again. But these things were created, the original ideas were given, you know, like 2020 was created when Earth was created 46 years ago, or probably 42. But we won't know for sure. No one will have the answers while we're on Earth. We'll never know anything while we're here because it will just be Santa Claus shit and AI slop regurgitating itself. That's all it's ever been. And ever since 2020, we've been working on figuring out what it can do, and it still slops it together. Like, okay, so it's trying to convince me I'm creating people, and then it brings some slop, some trashy whores. So, I mean, some might just be sluts, not even a whore. And you know, it's like, well, obviously, I'm not interested in that. But there's how many humans in the room who are non-existent robots who are playing dialogue for this encounter with something I did not create, but I did focus my attention on the visuals of for about 30 minutes. And then it appears in the store when I go in there. So it's slopping it together. And obviously, like, the biggest thing is the sloppiest looking people seem to be, are they in a war with God? Is that why they keep trying to kill me and keep dying from it? Is that why they send their slop into my life? Is that why they purposely, like, is it true that on TV there's a few smart people, they showed a human calculator who could do math? You know, it was all the big rave for like a few years. And it's just like, it almost feels like it's slop generated to trick you into thinking that there's something actually there. Because what you actually meet, you never meet these superstars on TV. Now, the person I dated from Hollywood, you've never heard of and you've never seen before. And, you know, the person trying to get me to hang out with Trump and shit. Never heard of him, never seen him before. And never ended up meeting Trump. Even when I went to the RNC, they prevent you from getting within half a mile of the building he's in, yet alone seeing if it's a real person, if they've actually created that robot model, which shouldn't be hard because I've had 3 Donald Trumps in my life, right? The one worked with people trying to poison me. The other one brought one of their slop whores around, taught me about the government. Who was the fourth one? I came down to the fourth one. Um, but they're like the same person, you know. It's just in a different shell. Um, you know, you see a Donald Trump and you're like, oh, that person's a dog rapist, and then what? Isn't that odd? Donald Trump is pretty much the equivalent of a dog rapist. Fucking, that's, you wouldn't expect anything less when you look at the. And maybe that happens because you meet it before, but you know, I didn't expect them to be poisoning me like they were in 2020. But I guess, you know, when you see something, when you think dog rapist, that there's a whole personality that it's slopped together. The dog rapist doesn't just mean dog rapist, it brings in all those other talents with it. Um, yeah. So basically, we get this is the only thing we're doing here. It's a the unwanted terrorist homo low IQ to fucking job of the slops keep saying it's the rabbit hole. It's not a rat hole where there's a trash rat species trying to fucking force you listen to their bullshit and you have it figured out from the second you're fucking born. Not at all. It's a rabbit hole. I'm going down the rabbit hole with all that acid that fried my brain. I'm gonna take all them drugs like these crack Americans do so I can become stupid like them and start failing kindergarten like they do. And now I'm in the rabbit hole 'cause I done fried myself on Alias Day. Yup. On the marijuanas. I'm gonna fry myself. You know, it is odd, like taking shrooms uh, help me control the weather. That's also when they fucking died trying to kill me. Um, but that was set up in advance. That money was there, and obviously you had the homosexual, incestual, God's chosen slop inserted in my life, ready to roll forth and bring what her friends were already doing into my life. But, you know, get me locked in the house and trap me inside with it with the help of her government. You see how even the poorest people are actually working for the government? Like, like my trash family, they've the ones never left it, can't even walk anymore or drive because it's never left its house, and it's like Job of the Hut, fucking. And it's like, yeah, I'm not part of the government, but it literally is the person in my life who has worked with the government the most. Fuck the government, dated cops, got AIDS from it. That's funny though, isn't it? As you kind of fuck around and find out what happens when you want to be a pedophile homo terrorist. Fuck around and find out. Oh, but you see, but am I supposed to laugh at that? Is that supposed to be fun? Are they being invented for this purpose? So I can laugh at them dying of AIDS and shit? I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure because since 2020 we've been, the slop's been slopping shit together. And the few times it's trying to convince me I'm involved in creating humans, it's tried to help a lot. But the two times where they came up to me, that one time I didn't talk to it. It pulled it away from me when I started being like, I'm going to ask this person how they magically appear out of nowhere and how I got a video, a live. I was in a live conference, and the conference was talking to me about sending the person into my life. The conference ain't about none of that shit. It's about that fucking Plato slop stuff. It's stoic, the exact opposite of wanting to talk to a dumb bitch. Or, like a stoic doesn't talk to bitches. A stoic walks down the street and the bitches can't stop falling to their knees and licking his boots. That's what a stoic does, but not in this fucking stoic conversation. I know it was directly, if you don't accept what we send to you, then it can't come into your life. Because I wasn't talking to it. It was trying to talk to me. Anyway, so you tell me why you think it looks like AI slop. You tell me why it creates all these slop stories trying to convince me it is real. If it's just AI slop, why is it doing that? Like, is it purposely trying to teach me to hate? I mean, obviously, like, there's going to be no other outcome from most of this shit. Having people try to rape me, I'm not like a human. I don't secretly love it. You can tell that these women should be lucky. Like the one bitch, now she's all alone with all her dildos and stuff. Like, seriously, I'm not making up shit. This motherfucker showing me pictures of them and their dildos, and no man will be around them. So it makes me think, well, your story of when you got raped when you were 16, when I was with you, that sounds like, a cherished moment that you'll remember for the rest of your life, because now you're desperate. I think it might have to do with the personality. It might be slopping together the events and shit. But at the same time, I notice it does that. Like, pretty much everyone in my life. Like how do 4 out of 4 Hollywood prostitutes in my life get cancer? That's some weird shit. It's almost like it's like a little scrap or something. It's like supposed to be like, oh, check out. Like when the dude kills himself trying to kill me, it's supposed to be. Is that supposed to be like a scrap to brainwash me? Like, oh, well, that's what happens when you fuck with me. Because it doesn't work that way, and it doesn't ever look that way. Especially once we're testing the slop. I think it's got some character RNG and event RNG too. Outside of the major things, I've seen like events replay themselves, like the same opportunity show up. Like I get, the Hollywood offering every 5-6 years to be a model or whatever. And all I can think of is like, wow, that must be fake, because that first person I met talking about how it's pedophiles in Hollywood when I'm like a child, and they know because they're the ones who went to Hollywood. So there was a story there I think they weren't telling. Might have been that person was like fucking 60 in the 80s. That would have been one of the first people to get fake tits and shit. Fucking, if that's what happened there and stuff. And then they were warning me about it. And fucking. But it slopped that together like 4 times and shit, where. And it might be purposely creating those things, you know, like I said. So I hate those type of events. So I hate school, you know, because the teacher's a fucking idiot. And like I said, they weren't. Like we had the bait year. After that year, we have a bait year where 2 years after that, where it's like they make the teachers literally my friends, and I'm hanging out with them after school and stuff. Fucking. So it didn't have to do that, right? It didn't have to create that one hot teacher who had a real fucking attitude problem and wasn't very smart, but was teaching school, was teaching math. So we can add it together that it almost appears like it's trying to make you hate certain things, and then but then you have the results, like when you sit there and let them kill themselves trying to kill you, then you get punished for it, just like when the crackheads did it again in 2024. Like, like I get jumped by Americans, and their drug cult at their drug cult place on parole from prison for being crackheads. And then what happened? I don't even do anything, and I get in trouble for letting them try to kill me. It's like, so that, you know, I'm being trained to be like this fucking super warrior with all this fucking super strength and super secret knowledge and shit. And then I can't even use it. It you know, it's odd when I actually do stuff, nothing seems to happen. That's weird shit right there. Um, but then they set this shit up here where in the past, you know, in 2020, before 9/11, they sent people to try to kill me, and then they did the same thing in 2024. And then there's all those other times, which kind of, you know, that lends evidence to of purpose and shit. And then on top of that, I get the free roam camera, right, where I leave my body, and we're like any video game, we're watching the fucking story unfold and shit, and we're learning the plot line and the events that they're about to do. While they're fucking separating me from an Asian girl who's trying to talk to me and shit, which I'm pretty sure is like part of the plot line to learn that that's happening, that I'm being forced to date their people instead of smart people. I don't know if she was actually smart or not, but you know, they're always telling me Asians are smart people, so I always figured that maybe that's why I don't know any fucking other people from Mensa and shit outside of the ones I met in those type of classes in school, which I didn't really meet them, so I couldn't even analyze them. Some weird ass slop shit it's got going on. And then, yeah, that seems to be a theme here too. You know, like forcing you to go to school for 20 years and then you can't do anything with it. You're like, they force you back. They're like, oh, he's too good at reading. He's too good at school. We gotta hold him back. You gotta prevent it. It's like when I went to that Taco Bell that was hiring people. They were closed half of the day. But they can't. They don't need me. It's like, what's the point of this slop and shit? And that was an Asian person. So obviously, right there, we've got the United Nations fucking involved in this shit. Fucking. And it purposely does that. It's real hard to get a hold of me and force your way into my life. You have to be a violent fucking a violent abuser to force your, like the other dude last week who wouldn't take no for an answer when I was telling him I'd rather see him dead than talk to him. It literally doesn't take murder as an answer. Fucking, um, that's what it takes and shit. Fucking, to get me to talk. Cause I'm not a girl, right? So there's not much to say in the world until I start putting out the instruction manual to Earth. Till I start publishing an instruction manual, which I think I read anyway. So I'm kind of being forced to do this already because I have to do the same thing they do, where I just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking because to make sure that nothing else is said until we get the fucking answers and shit. A skill I learned from them. I will say I did learn that skill from them. I definitely learned those skills from them, but it's like I learned how to fight from them too, and then they cry when they kill themselves trying to kill me, and fucking. I don't think they cried the other times. I actually did hit them. You see, that's weird. It's like you're being provoked uh, to actually fucking solve the problem. Like, to learn your God. Like, what's going to happen if I just go outside and start killing the motherfuckers who've been enslaving and trying to kill me? What are they going to do? Are they going to kill me? How can they lock me up if I'm actually the main player here and shit? I don't think they could, right? It would end the story, and we're having problems ending the fucking story on our own, so. Very weird shit.